Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm your host, MegaRuler31. Apologize for the early video. I don't know if I got it out or not because YouTube's not working for uploads, and I was trying to record it, and there's a pop, and my screen went black, and then the video just ended. So I figured, you know what, you could see the screen, you could see what the GPPs and all the cores and stuff were. So good enough. Just wanted to get out in the interest of time if I was able to, but I'm moving on right now as it's trying to do its thing uploading, and I'm going to do the night slate. So just want to give you a quick preview. You guys are talking about and asked for it. NFL, again, this is not, I was just playing around with it, so this isn't what the final is. Looking to do an NFL video. Some of the content that I'd probably try to provide for you here. So if this is what you're kind of looking for, then let me know in the comments. If there's other things you want me to try to add, then I'll try to see if I can incorporate it in before I record it later on this week before Sunday slate. So back to MLB. Here, 6-game slate tonight. Things didn't go as planned as last night. Fadot was not as good as I thought he would be. I hope you did watch the video and listen and stack Valdez in Houston. Altuve with the 3 home runs, everything. I stacked them with the Yankees. I got Stanton's home run, and actually had a pretty decent night, even though cash failed. My GPPs actually carried me across the finish line. So, night slate tonight, we have the Yankees and the Tigers again at Yankee Stadium. 88 degrees, wind blowing out 5 miles per hour, good hitting situation. Matt Manning and Schmidt, both of them have faced each other's team and did okay recently. Manning's great against right-handed batters, doesn't strike out a lot of people, but most of the Yankees lineup is right-handed, except for maybe Austin Wells and Dominguez as a switch hitter here. So he should be okay in the cheap range. And Schmidt, I think, will probably be the most popular pitcher on the slate against Detroit, who's banged up and lost a couple of players. So, and just hasn't come together like some of the other young teams like Seattle and Baltimore and Cincinnati have with the young talent that they possess. So both pitchers I think are in play. Detroit's just going to be a leverage sack. Schmidt should be highly owned, and the Yankees definitely, especially against the Detroit bullpen. If Manning holds them at bay, then later on they should be cheap pieces to go on. The game that I really want to look at here is the Mets and Nationals. It is 93 degrees, wind blowing out. So it's a park upgrade from Citi Field to the Mets. And you have Buto, could be a bullpen game. I don't know how stretched out he is, but Carrasco is no longer pitching. So they need some options to try to finish out the season. So maybe he'll go long. Maybe it'll be a bullpen game. We don't know. Adon on the other side. Adon has been really good on the road. Adon has been horrible at home. I don't understand why, but his home and road splits are really far apart. So the Mets in a great hitting situation here against him in the Washington bullpen. And I think Washington on the other side is a great situation. I am not touching either pitcher here, but I really do love both these teams. Mets more as a cash play, and the Washington, or stack them together if you're trying to get Strider in your lineup. St. Louis and Atlanta, speaking of Strider, Dakota Hudson is a no. And Spencer Strider is expensive, but has the highest probably floor and ceiling and pure point upside on the slate. So if he does his thing against his Cardinal lineup, I know they came out last night and destroyed the Braves pitching, but hopefully they got out of their system and now they're back to being the erratic St. Louis. It's good hitting situation again here in Atlanta. 85 degrees, wind blowing out 6 miles per hour. So St. Louis, definitely, if you want to take him as a hedge stack and think that Strider might struggle, then go ahead, take the lefties, load them up, dollar YOLO stack, that's fine. Braves, they're so hard to get in. Last night I stacked 3 Braves and I got them right. I skipped Acuna and I just went Albies, Riley, and Olsen, and it worked because all 3 of them had home runs. So Acuna is just getting way too expensive, almost 7K on DK. He's almost 5K on FanDuel. So just gotta kind of leave him out of stacks. FanDuel, you can do a wraparound at least with Harris and stuff. So Braves are a top stack. It's just hard to get him in. It's almost impossible with Strider. I don't think it's mathematically possible to, unless you're playing all the cheaper Braves. So I mean, play around with it if you want, but I just, that's got to be a GPP lineup. And I think if you're trying to play the Braves as a stack, it's going to be a GPP lineup too, just because it doesn't leave you much for salary. I mean, the Washington and Mets game has some cheap guys in Kansas City and The White Sox also coming up might make it work for you, but you'll just have to figure out your pathway if you want to play more than 3 Braves in your lineup. White Sox and Royals, Toussaint and Lyles. I think Toussaint and Schmidt will probably be, if you're trying to get Braves in the chalk build. I just don't fully trust him. Kansas City has actually been hitting pretty well recently, and he struggles with lefties, and they've got some decent lefties in this lineup that can do some damage, and Walters and Melendez. And, the righties aren't bad either, and Garcia and Witt and Perez. So he's risky, but I think a lot of people will take the bait there. Lyles on the other side, the White Sox have struggled, but so has Lyles. So, GPP, if Lyles gets it right and the White Sox struggle, then that could definitely help too at 6-1 and be a pivot off the chalky Toussaint. So just somewhat, I put him in the cheap category. I just don't think he's a fade here. He's not as bad as the Mets guys. He's not as bad as Hudson, and Sandoval's just priced way too high for his matchup against the Orioles. So, Lyles might come into play here as somebody that you could definitely look at in deep GPP play. So the White Sox, I like some of their cheap bats here, like especially the bottom of the lineup to make things work, to try to get the Braves in and decent pitching. In Kansas City, same thing. I like, don't be afraid to go to the bottom here and take like Massey and Walters, and Velasquez has been solid. Also Melendez, there's a lot of good plays there. Houston and the Rangers, you got the 2 former Mets pitchers facing off against each other, Verlander and Scherzer. I don't think I really want to touch either one because you got 2 good pitchers, you got 2 good offenses. Who knows what's going to happen in this game? I know Scherzer left, asked to come out of the game like in the 6th inning last time because his arm started to feel like fatigued. It wasn't injury or anything, but so just have to keep an eye on that. Like maybe he's not going to be going as deep as he has previously and be the workhorse he used to be. So I think there's upside on both sides here. I think this game just screams GPP. The pitchers scream GPP. The batters scream GPP, and I think, you can't. It's really hard to do a stack with, like I said, to do last night. Like if you're going to take the pitcher and the GPP, take the bats and like to correlate. But I don't know if that's even going to work pricing wise tonight. So I just might leave Verlander and Scherzer on the shelf. Maybe sprinkle them into GPP. Play, with your cash lineup and turn into GPP by using them as a pitcher with lower ownership. And then, I'll probably play a stack of each just in case one of these guys have an off night. But it's probably good. It's definitely more tournament and like in like low dollar, like $1 or maybe in the 420 entry max or something like that. Okay, final game on the slate: Orioles and Angels, Gibson and Sandoval. If Ohtani's out of this lineup is not good, even though they did okay last night, but the Orioles came back and won it in 10 innings, 5-4. Gibson, I think, is solid here in this matchup, and I think I'm going to be relying on him. And I think I'll team up Gibson and Schmidt a lot in my lineups tonight. I like that combination. Sandoval on the other side, I think at 7-7 is just a little bit too high. Lefter going against like Mountcastle is just destroying lefties. Hayes is good. Henderson hit both sides. Rutschman, Santander. There's just too many weapons on this Baltimore team. I just can't do it. Wind's blowing out a little bit. It's a warmer than usual night in LA. And then the Angels on the other side. This is just a garbage lineup here. You want to play him as a leverage stack against Gibson, I get it. But other than that, I don't really see much use for him. So let's look at builds and get you on the way for your day. So give me Strider and cash here, and I'm going to stack Washington and the Mets. So Reese, Alonso, Lindor, Nemo, and Black and Horner are the ones that I'm going to take. Mauricio fits, I think, in third base or second base here. He's another cheap guy. You figure out the rest, who your SP2 is going to be. I like Gibson or Schmidt. If you want to go down to Toussaint, Manning, or Lyles, they're a little bit more risky. I don't think you need to do that with this build here, but you decide what you like best for your lineup. For FanDuel, it's going to take Strider, Ruiz. It works too. You just pretty much stack the Mets and Washington. If you need to take a one-off, then if you really like a cheap guy that works for you, that's fine. But I really like the build with the Mets and the Washington Nationals with that total against those pitchers and the weather conditions there. So GPP, give me Gibson, Schmidt, or take both. Like I said, I think Schmidt Toussaint or Schmidt Lyles or Schmidt Manning will probably be like the chalk. Could probably be Schmidt Toussaint, but like I said, you have the other options there. Give me Olsen, Albies. I'm going to take Acuna here. I'm probably in favor of Riley, or if you want to fade Acuna, then you can put Riley there and get a little bit of better of a build. I also played around with Kansas City here, like I said. So give me Colas and Sheets. I'm taking cheap White Sox guys to fill out my lineup against Lyles. But if you want to take the other side of it, then you would probably need to fade Acuna and go with I mean, you can even go like Arcia and Ozuna here, or Rosario's the lefty against the righty. So there's lots of different combinations that you can go with the Braves, but these are the two that I'm going to focus on, and I want one of these two pitchers up top here. Same thing with FanDuel, Gibson or Schmidt. Olsen, Albies. I can't do Acuna here, so give me Harris. I mean, if you want to, I left it open. I didn't put a fourth Brave in there, but here I'm definitely going Kansas City. Garcia and Melendez are the ones I'm focusing on, but that's how I finish out. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat below. Hit me up at Megaru31 on Twitter/X. If you have any comments on what you want to see in the NFL videos, then continue to throw those out here. Also, if you want more information on FSi DFS to be able to get into our Discord to see the full cores for baseball, or sign up for a football package, the description is in the description of the video is linked to our website and to how to get into our Discord and all that information. And if these videos help you, as always, help us back. You've already helped by watching it, but please, if you want to go a little bit extra mile, then like the video, subscribe to our channel so you know when new types of videos like NFL might come out. And if you want to share with your friends, that'd be awesome too. So thank you. Hope you have a great Wednesday. Hope you have East Coast heat wave. You're staying cool. Good luck in your contest, and I'll see you next time.